on to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the first match preview in the Premier League for the new season. Everton versus Southampton on Saturday. We're back to, I think it's the first 3 o'clock kickoff we've had since last October. So, nice to see some form of normality returning to the Premier League, and of course, fans returning to Goodison en masse. I don't doubt that it'll be a sellout as far as the whatever Evertonians can get their hands on is concerned. I know Southampton didn't complete their allocation, but I think that's going to our fans. Hopefully, as close to a full house as possible for the first time in a good 18 months. But yeah, a lot to look forward to in that respect. It is nice to be, have a bit of a more normal season back, but we've got to hope that Everton can get off to the right start. It's been a really disheartening off season. Of course, we finished the season on a bad note with a bad result, but of course we lost the manager who was quite popular, replaced him with a manager who's certainly not so popular, not made many signings, not many signings, been quite underwhelming. One of our fans in Africa's a vampire. It's been a bit of a mad season. It's been a mad off season to say the least, and not for all the rest reasons. But it all boils down, and it's all been leading up to this game, the opening game back at Goodison against Southampton. Rafael Benitez's first managerial game, first competitive game as manager. It's a tough one to call because I think both of our teams, Everton and Southampton, are both, I think, in situations where they're not feeling the best about where the club's at. And, it's going to be a tough one. I think to lose to a team who I don't think will do particularly well this season myself, I think that could spell trouble. Benitez, if he knows what's good for him, will not lose his first game as Everton manager.
The first game of the season used to be a guaranteed 2-2, no matter who you were playing when you were Everton.
We drew 2-2 with everyone.
Yeah, but I'm going to make a prediction for this opening rounds of fixtures. I think we'll see 2 away defeats all weekend, away wins rather. I think Liverpool will bum Norwich, and I think City will beat Tottenham, and then everyone else, none of the own teams, will lose. And if Liverpool and City were playing stronger teams, I'd stand by it. We wouldn't see a single away win, because the fans being back is going to be a game changer for so many teams. There's not just going to be the fans back and the players aren't used to it. Most of them have played international football with fans this summer and have got used to it again. But the excitement and the anticipation and the enthusiasm for every home crowd, especially Goodison, is going to be so big that I think the opposition teams, regardless of who they are, unless there's a massive gulfing class like Liverpool and Norwich, I don't think any of the teams are going to go away and win other than them two. With us, we've lost Danny Ings. They're about to lose Vestergaard. They're selling key players from the span of their team. So there's nothing more Everton than us losing this game and then Southampton losing 5 games. But we can't. This needs to be a home win. I don't think it's fair. It's probably accurate, but I don't think it's very fair if Benitez is under pressure if he doesn't win his first game. But we should, with a more settled team than Southampton, and a better team than Southampton certainly, we should be beating these at home at Goodison with a full house.
Well, with that in mind, you were saying about obviously the fans and the excitement. Could that work against Everton, because there isn't a lot of excitement at the moment? The mood around the club is very low.
It won't be at 3 o'clock on Saturday, mate. Regardless of what people think of the manager and think of the situation at the club, there's been well worse times in Everton's history, and the fans have been up for games. The fans have been, that might wear it off as long runs of defeats if they were to happen. If that kicks in, then obviously the mood can change. But first time Goodison's been full since that Man United game where we were robbed of the goal by the referee and Ancelotti got sent off. That's the last time Goodison was full. People are going to get back, mate, and just breathe it all in. And I think every home team, apart from those 2 I've mentioned, they won't lose. They might not all win, but no more than them will lose in my book.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, because the one thing that I've got with regards to Southampton as an opponent, and I think, I'll be honest with you, mate, I'm probably speaking for about 17 of the 19 potential opponents this season. The better runners than us, and I always fear for our team because we're so slow, and it still hasn't really, but maybe except Damari Gray, it hasn't really been addressed.
True, but they haven't got the quality up front that we've got. I've said that now, and that they're going to score 5 past us, with Shea Adams, but they haven't got a striker anymore like Danny Ings who can, finish the game, like finish the chances they create. And they're about to lose Vestergaard. They might be in the process of losing James Ward-Prowse. They're selling a lot of key players, and Everton aren't some of the best runners, but we've got a new manager and we've got a work rate focused manager. So hopefully we see a change. We could, we're not going to suddenly make slow players fast, but you could see a change in application and attitude from the Everton players in this game.
Even if we saw, I'm not even messing, mate, even if we saw a slow player run a bit, because it doesn't seem to matter whether you've got the pace or you've not got the pace. Sometimes our players just don't run enough.
Well, I think that's the only thing that Benitez will guarantee, that the players will graft more. There might not be as much quality, there might not be better football, but I certainly think they'll work harder. And I'm not even one of these revisionists who acts like Ancelotti didn't make the players work hard, but I do think Benitez will have the team be more workmanlike. Whether that's a good thing for you is up for debate. But I certainly think, if you don't run, you don't play for Benitez. That's just going to be a fact.
Yeah, I just remember that someone called him Sam Allardyce, and that's just like got to me.
Yeah, no comment. But
yeah, whoever came up with that shout needs a medal. But yeah, I'll be honest. I'll be happy just to see us graft, because we didn't see anywhere near enough of that in the final couple of months of last season.
We'll get beat by teams who are better than us, but hopefully we don't get beat by teams who just ran more than us anymore, because that might change with the players. You're never going to get James Rodriguez, any manager, to be a workhorse crafter. It's got the quality to make that not necessary sometimes, but it's just not going to happen. But you probably will get more from some of the players, towards the back end of last season. I hope you get more from Richarlison. I thought he was terrible last season. Maybe the fans being in, a different manager might inspire him to go back to his old hard working ways. He wasn't lazy by any means, but his quality just wasn't there. Want to see a team who fight for it, who won it. I don't want to have teams who are worse than us have us off for points because they just worked harder. I don't like that. I don't want to see that anymore. And that's one thing Benitez can do to get people on sides, is to get a little bit of the Moyes ethos back in the team. Moyes didn't achieve what he should have achieved at Everton, but he certainly had a hard-working team. And if you get that back, that is part of that framework I mentioned in the previous segment, that blueprint, that foundation to a team. If you can get that instilled, you've always got something solid to build on.
I think that's the thing. Like, I'll be honest, I've not really, at least under Moyes, I wasn't obviously happy that we won nothing, but I was still proud to say I supported Everton, whereas you can't always say that when you watch some of the teams that we've, the way we've played at times, I don't see those players wearing the shirt with enough pride in recent years.
You took it for granted because it was you become so used to it, because Moyes only ever brought in players who fit that. And if they didn't fit it when they got here, they got moved on very quickly. And then when he left, we had that framework, and Martinez just added a bit of quality on top of it, but not even slowly, over the years, rather quickly, once that framework started to come away and we wasn't looked after, we started to see, less relatable Everton teams because they didn't fight for the supporters. Like, there's players who didn't want to be here, who didn't care, or their own agendas, you know what I mean? Like, Benitez can't do it all overnight, but if he can install that sort of fighting mentality back into Everton and then build from there, he'll go a long way to winning people over. And it needs to start in this game, because the only way Southampton are going to beat Everton without those key players who they've sold or are about to sell is going to be through work rate, because they're low on quality, but they're not low on work rate.
Definitely not on work rate, and that's the thing. We need to match them stride for stride. And if we do, I think we'll win. But, it's a big ask when I've seen these players let us down so regularly, even under a manager as good as Ancelotti.
Yeah, well, you've got to have a reaction now to that Man United defeat. It was only a friendly, but everyone was watching, and people will, Evertonians went and they just saw more of the same. What they saw against Man City, they need to make a statement in this first game. Not that we're going to win the league, but the statement is we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to just roll over and have our bellies tickled. We'll get beat by better teams, but we're not going to be outrun by teams. They need to show that to us.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think Everton fans have always been understanding of that, provided the players give it 100%, the fans will be supportive.
Definitely.
And with that in mind, that's literally, like you say, that's all that needs to be done. Go out there and give it everything you've got for your new manager and for these fans who've waited months to come back and watch this game. And if you can't do that, then I don't want to see you here come the 31st of August.
Yeah, definitely.
And if Benitez has got any sense, if someone lets him down on Saturday, by the 31st of August, he should have at least been tried to have been told.
Yeah, they'll make it known that they're not going to play because he only needs players he can rely on.
I think Benitez is not backwards in coming forwards as well when it comes to that. I think if players won't graft, he just seems to let them know about it.
Yeah, that's been a hallmark of his career. Even when he had quality players, he made them work, and he fell out with players who didn't want to work. That's why he never worked as a Real Madrid manager, and Carlo did, because you've got a galaxy of stars. If you're going to make them work hard rather than just rely on their quality, it's not going to work. When you've got Galacticos, you need to be a player whisperer, not a hard work manager. Whereas the opposite might be true at Everton. When you've not got a team of quality, you need to make them work hard, which is why it might actually end up being an expired move, even if it wasn't deliberate, to replace Carlo with Rafa, because it might work better for what we've got now. We'll never know now, because I don't think Ancelotti's going to come back.
Yeah, well, that of course, but yeah, I think if he can, produce something a bit like, even if it, like you say, I just want to see our team go out and graft and give it 100% for the fans. These fans have waited a long time and they've been put through some crap. They deserve to see something to be proud of on Saturday, whatever happens.
Yeah. There's a lot of fans who never got to come back as well. Like, that's just, everything pales in comparison when you think about what everyone's been through since the last Goodison home game. So I think everyone just needs to, enjoy it when they're in there, because it's one of the things we took for granted and we've done without for a long time.
Definitely. With that in mind, we'll get into the actual setups, the teams, and what can we expect from Everton? What do you reckon, setup-wise? Obviously, we set up a lot with a 4-3-3 last season, diamond and all kinds. Ancelotti tweaked it a lot. What system do you reckon Benitez is going to employ on his first game?
I think he'll play 4-2-3-1, because that's his favourite formation, and he has got the players here to do it. I think he'll cause a meltdown at 2:00 when James Rodriguez isn't in the number 10. But I think it'll be...
probably will be.
No, I don't even think it'll be a Wobie. I think he'll play the back four he plays against, the back five he plays against Man United, of Pickford, Coleman, Godfrey, Keane and Dean. I think he'll play the double pivots of Doucouré and Allen, which, it just picks itself that practically if you're going to play the two of them. And then in front of that, I think he'll have Townsend, Gray and Richarlison with Calvert-Lewin. I think he'll have Demarai Gray. I was going to say Andre Gray. No, didn't sign him, thank God for that. Demarai Gray in the 10, but not in like a creative 10, in sort of like a breaking fast 10, is want of a better description. But I think that's what he'll play. It'll be all workman. It'll be all workman-like, and it will be work rates. And I don't think we'll see the flair of James Rodriguez. I think he'll just come off the bench, if anything.
Yeah, definitely. But with regards to Richarlison, obviously he's just come back from the Olympics. Is that a bit too soon for him to start? I know, as good as he is.
No. I mean, play him. He chose, apparently, it seems, when he spoke to Everton, we probably didn't want him to go to the Olympics, but they probably thought, well, we'll let you go, but that's your holiday, and then you come back and you play for us. And then that seems to be what's happened. So I think, especially with, possibly Moise Keane being unavailable and Calvert-Lewin being touch and go, I think Richarlison is the most nailed-down starter in the whole team.
Fair play, yeah. So, again, if Calvert-Lewin misses out, maybe Richarlison up front.
Yeah, that if Calvert-Lewin isn't available and Richarlison won't be on the left, he'll be up front, and they'll probably just move Gray out to the left and put someone else in the middle.
It will be. Um,
Probably. Or
that'll be a fun watch. Yeah, I think it's the right setup. I think, but 4-2-3-1. You need your fullbacks to get up and down. I think this is why if he's going to employ that, we need a new right back.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely criminal that we haven't landed one. Let's be honest.
It's been criminal for 2 or 3 years that we haven't landed one, but there's still time. I think no one at the club is under the impression they don't need one. I think it's just a financial block at the minute. I think once that block clears, whether it's Denzel Dumfries or someone else, I think we will get it. We will finish this window with a right back. I'm confident of it. Which one is anyone's guess, but we won't go in with Kenny and Coleman. There's just no way.
Sidibe for a second spell on loan.
Why not?
But yeah, in terms of that, with that team, prediction for the game?
I'm going to go 1-0.
1-0
to Everton.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-1. I think we will win. Like I say, if Benitez has set this team up a bit more workmanlike, I think we can, at least come close to Southampton's physical attributes, and then, like you say, the quality might just pull us through then.
Ward-Prowse, that worries me without Ings, because Ings is always good for a goal against us no matter what. But without Ings, Ward-Prowse's set pieces are the big one for me, because he can rifle them in, and Pickford's not very good when it comes to long distance shots.
He doesn't like free kicks, does he, Pickford?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't like long. He seems to be better when he reacts to on the spots,
He's gonna stop and near tappings.
Yeah, when someone smashes it at the goal 2 yards from him, he's better at getting it than when he smashes it at him from 30 yards. He's a weird keeper like that. But yeah, Ward-Prowse, if they score, win, lose or draw, Ward-Prowse will be the man for me if he's playing. Which you imagine he will be.
But yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. So at least we've both gone for a win. And I mean, given how pessimistic I am about the prospects of this season, that says a lot. Fingers crossed anyway. We'll hopefully get off to a winning start. And for Benitez, I say, I hope he does. I think I'll really settle the anxiety with regards to that. But also, just to get the fans back in the ground for the first time, a win, it's what they deserve more than anything else. And fingers crossed we get that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. Let us know your feelings going into this game. Give us your predictions for the match. Let us know your opinions on everything we've discussed as well. Drop us a comment, give this video a like, subscribe for more content, and ring the bell. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching on the Toffee Blues.